Hi everyone, it's Kathy at Karma's Creations. Today I have a selection of hand spun yarns that I have spun, all different thicknesses or weights or gauges, whatever you like to call them. In Australia we call them ply. This one here that I'm using right now, I'm making a vest. It's a commission, and the woman that has commissioned it wanted these particular colours. So I had one on the market stall, and she wanted it just a little bit bigger. But she wanted the same colours. So I've blended those, which means taking a lot of different colours and fibres and putting them together, and then putting them through, well, I use a blending board, making bats out of it, and then spinning it into yarn, and then knitting. So there's a lot of processes to making a garment. This one is equivalent to approximately a 4-ply, which is your fingering or 2-weight. This one here is a bulky. This is what they call an art yarn. There's another one here somewhere here. This one's got alpaca, it's got wool, and it's got mohair, locks or curls. This one has got a bit of all sorts of things in it. It's still very soft, but it's much thicker. They both have two different methods of spinning, but they're still yarn. This is probably equivalent to about a 16-ply. And this one you'd knit up like an 8-ply. So this is about DK. This one would be super bulky. This one's quite fine. This is wool plied with sari silk waste. Now, sari silk waste comes in... I just got to find the box of them. What did I do with it? I had it here. It's all the ends and pieces of the saris when they're woven, and then they're put through a process of turning all the short ends back into fibre. So everything is tiny strands of fibre. You can pull them out of here because look, they're tiny. So they just make flecks in the wool. This is hand dyed as well. The yellow is dyed from Osage orange wood chip. Gives that nice sunshine yellow. No, a little bit lighter than that, but anyway. This is wool and bunny fur, which is, the word's eluding me. Not mohair. Mohair's a goat. It'll come to me in a minute. Angora. Wool and Angora. I've blended those, and then it's been dyed and blended and then spun. It's reasonably fine, probably a 4-ply again, it's fingering weight. This one's a little bit finer, so maybe a 3-ply, or in places a 2, but I'd still use it as a 4-ply fingering weight. And this one here is what they call thick and thin. That goes from that to that. And as a rule, you would knit it or crochet it. This is actually a Z-ply yarn, so this is crochet yarn. this one, I'd use an 8-ply pattern if I was doing a pattern, which is a DK, maybe a 4-weight. But I wouldn't use any lighter or heavier. Anyway, I'll get these off the table. That's just another little bit. I've got lots and lots, hundreds of balls, but this was just the first ones I picked today. Christina Creates bought some beautiful fibres at the, did she say Coburg? Anyway, at the wool show that she went to, Fibre Fest, and was experimenting with different ways to use that. Now, the first way I could use it if I didn't know how to spin, I'm going to take these all here off, is to take my fibre. I would cut off a piece or pull off a piece. You always divide your fibre. Put 2 hands and pull. To find out how long your staple is one of these, or the length of the actual fibres in the roving or tops, is to take it like that, pull it out, and that is the length of the staple. Now that's fairly strong. You can put a lot of pressure on that because all those fibres are running in the same direction. They're all the same length. If you were to say draft it out and then put that piece there, then that's not at all strong. That will come apart really easily. When you put twist into it, and you can do it with your finger like that, it becomes very strong. If you twist 2 together and twist back the opposite direction, it becomes even stronger. You can see my fingers go white. That's how much I've got on it. So, yeah, the easiest way to use it as a yarn would be just to draft it a little bit, which means just pull them apart a little bit without making them fall apart. Use your finger like this. Just twist it a bit. Put as much twist in as you can. You're not pulling on it. You're just putting twist into it. And you get a second one. Do the same, draft it out a little bit to about double. And do it again. Put another one and put a lot of twist in. As much as you can or as much as you want. When it starts to twist up like that, this is what they call plying, because you've got 2 pieces and they're coming back across each other. Now you've got 2 going the same direction, so you hold them together and go back the opposite direction, and that untwists the previous twist and tightens it up, and that becomes a fairly strong yarn. If there's a bit like that that doesn't have a lot of twist in it, then you can go closer to it and twist it. And if you do that, if you're only wanting short pieces of yarn, you've got a piece that you can couch down. So I don't have any, yes I have. Get a stitchery out. So say I had this stitchery here and I decided I wanted to couch down some yarn on one of these edges. Say this one here. Then I just make sure I've got enough and that it's twisted enough to stay together, and lie it along the seam and couch it down. If you want it to be prettier, then you bring some stuff in. This here is called roving or tops. These are bats, and these are done on a blending board or a carder, a wool carder, and they're very open. And look at that, isn't that beautiful? And you can see all the different types of fibres running together. There's this bright one is silk. This here is little bits of recycled fabric. You can put pieces of ribbon in, you can put little bits of cotton. If you've got lots of orts, you can include them into your spinning. If you're going to just spin little short pieces like that to put in your... Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So, okay, we want a prettier yarn. So we're going to tear a little bit off the side of this. And we're going to put that one back down there. Now we're going to do the same as we did with this one. I'm going to pull another piece off here because it's about the same length. We get two pieces that are about the same thickness, and we just draft them out a little bit. Drafting is just pulling them out a little bit. We did a thing to see how wide we could go before it broke, so we can just, and all of a sudden we've doubled that length. Now we can also just do it in a one ply, so we can just get one piece and twist it like this. It makes a big thick yarn, but that's okay. Or we can draft it just a little bit more, pull it when you once you get a little bit of spin in it. And this, where you see the two different colours, is called barber pole for obvious reasons. And just keep going and putting a little bit more twist in it as you go. And you've got a beautiful yarn forming. Just make sure you never draft it far enough so that it falls apart, pulls apart. So, you know, just twist, put some twist in. This is all that a spinning wheel or a spindle does, is puts twist into your yarn. Only you're using much longer piece and you're putting a lot more twist in. Just keep drafting little bit by little bit. I'm going to end up with a piece that's about yard and a half long, maybe 2 yards. And just, you can feel when it starts to feel, you have some resistance, and then it comes easily. When it comes easily, stop pulling. Just give it a bit of twist, keep giving it a bit of twist. Now that it's got a little bit of strength to it, you can secure this bit. I'm just going to get a bulldog clip. This is just one way of doing it. There's so many different ways. I keep finding scissors, but not. Here we are. I've got a bulldog clip here, and I'll just pull this in a little bit. I'm going to, no, I better get a smaller one. I'm just going to attach, this has got a bit of strength to it now because I've put a bit of twist in it. I'm going to keep twisting this all the way out. And I know you can't see me doing it, but I am. This is much slower than doing it with a wheel, but if you don't have a wheel, then you do whatever you can. Just keep twisting until it gets tighter. I'm still here, I'm still working. Now you can see, oh maybe you can't yet. You can see it's starting to buckle up on itself. When you see that, it's almost finished twisting. By buckle up, I mean things like this, where it starts to get little piggy tails. We call them pigtails when you get one of those in your yard. So when you start to get those in it, that's ready to ply. And you just keep going until you've got a few of those, quite a few of them. And I'm just twisting and letting it go down into the yarn, because it is yarn now. Now, this, if you put these two pieces together now, and twist back the other way, can you see that twist going into that? Now you have a 2-ply yarn with 2 colours. And it's about, a bit over a metre long, a bit over a yard long. From that little piece that I pulled off that was about 15 inches long. And there's a piece of yarn. Now you can use that to couch on. You can keep making it thinner if you like, or you can just have it as like that. It's very soft. This bit here where the drafting was further apart, they drafted it thinner, you've got a much thinner, tighter yarn. There's other things you can do. Now, I've got a little piece here. I'm going to cut a piece off the end here about yay thick. You do it as thick as you like. You can do it as thick as your finger. You can do it as thick as a pencil. You can do it as thick as a knitting needle. A thin knitting needle. I'm going to have a little piece like this. I'm going to draft it just a little bit, which means pulling the fibres apart so they're looser. Now, this is a type of spinning that anyone can do. Well, I shouldn't say that. That is, if you don't have a spinning wheel or a spindle, if you're total beginner. This is just a piece of dowel. Anything from 4 inches up to about 8. This one's about 8 inches. Now you put a piece of yarn on the end and we call that a leader. So I'm just going to take a piece off this one because that'll be a nice one. And the leader is just what you secure the yarn onto the stick with. Make a loop, tie in it. I've got about 2 foot there. And do a slip knot round the stick and pull it tight. Now, this bit of fibre that I got here, you poke it through the end there, like that. Double it over. And now just put this onto there. Now hold the stick like that. So it's really not, you know, you're not gripping it, you're just supporting it in your hand. Hold this bit tight in with the yarn, with the fibre. Hold it tight. And just go like that so the stick goes round in your hand. And what happens is you start to build up some twist in there. And you just let it keep going so that the stick's going round with you. And when you pull this back here, that little bit of twist that you had there, it goes up the fibre. So you can put a little bit on there. Now keep going. Do the same, just keep wrapping it around that stick and let the stick wander around inside your hand. Now it's starting to get some twist in it again. This is just, ancient peoples used this method with a stick or a rock. And it was just something to hold while you were putting some twist into your fibre. So let that fibre, those twists run up the fibre. And you're not holding the stick tight, but you are holding the fibre. Oops, see what happens if you pull it apart too far? All you have to do is overlap them. Hold it tight, do your wrapping, let your stick unwind it. You've got twist over the top of those joints now. Sorry if I'm going off the screen. You've got lots and lots of twist here, and we've run out of yarn again, so we'll just put that on there. And in the meanwhile, that little time, I'm going to pull off another strand of this, put them together again, because we need to join them. Let the twist run up over the join. Just twist, 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 twist. Let's run up over the top of the thing again. Whoops, drop it. Just let the twist travel up. And if you want to do a real fine yarn, you probably wrap about 20 times. If you want to do a thicker yarn, you probably wrap about 10 times before you move it and wind that yarn onto there. Just keep wrapping and drafting. And that'll travel up into there, that wrap. shorter stick might be better. And that's running up into there. I don't know whether you can see that, but see, there's a twist. Now, if you want to do something a little bit pretty, what I've prepared here, these are ones I prepared earlier, and I will show you how to do them, are some little bits of fibre, and I've put a bead on them. And what you do then is you just lay that bit of fibre with the bead over the top, do your twists, spin it, I mean. Oops, there's one that's not supposed to be in there. Haven't got a big enough work surface there. And see, the bead now is attached to the yarn. And we'll wind that one on, and we'll draft a little bit more. And I might happen to want another bead on there, so I'm going to get another one of these, put it on top, just hold it with the other piece, and off I go again. Just roll, let that spin around in my hand. There's 2 beads on the yarn. So we roll them on, let a bit of that twist go up. Let's put another one in there. Oops. And put the beads as far apart. You can put buttons on, you can let it go longer, fatter, bigger beads. I've used a beading needle to put the needles onto the fibre. I'll show you in a second. I'll just finish putting a couple, there's one more left. Put that one in. And then I'll show you how much fibre, how much yarn I've made with that little bit of spinning. One more time. And that's it. Okay, and there's our little bit of yarn at the top there with the beads on it. So let's take this yarn off. 1, 2, about 3 metres from those 2 little short bits. And what I'm going to do is because it's got all the twist in there, I'm going to hold the top and the bottom together. And get all the piggy tails in that. Run my hand up the middle and then twist back the other way. And that will secure the beads properly. This is what I did with the other one with the yellow in it. And you just keep going until all that twist runs up into the other yarn. You can use, say, a pencil. And you can go faster if you do it with a pencil to twist it. You could also use the a knitting needle if you've got a knitting needle, and you just keep going until you've got sufficient twist in the yarn to keep it together. I think that's pretty close to it. Like, it could be spun a lot tighter. If you don't like little bits sticking out, you can always put it between your hands and give it a rub, and that will felt some of the bits together. There's one that's not doing its being nice. Give it a bit of a felt between your hands, heat and friction. And there you go. So that's about 1.5 meters of yarn out of that. A piece this long and about that thick. So that's one piece of yarn. That again can be couched down. There's the other one. It's a bit thicker, can be couched down. Now, when you want to put beads on fibre, you pull out your staples, like I said before. I might use a darker fibre, or brighter. Here you go, here's some yellow. Bit of fluoro yellow. Fluff it up. Take a piece off the end and take little bits like this. These are about twice the length of my finger, because that's the, this is a coarser fleece. This one is a much softer and finer fleece. You can see the difference in the fibres. Anyway, I've got a few there. That'll do. Now, I have a beading needle. There are shorter ones, there are thicker ones, but this is what they call a big eye beader, because the whole middle is the eye. And you put a little bit of this fibre through the eye. Doesn't have to be very much. Turn it around. And take one of these beads, thread it on that end of the needle, pull it down to the middle of the staple, and there is your bead on your fibre ready to join into your yarn. These beads, my daughter does her yarn with these beads. What did she call them? She's probably yelling at the thing saying, "Mum, no." But anyway, they have the hole in the bead is not in the middle. They're at the end. I don't know if you can see it. What's dark? Here's a brown. Can you see on that, maybe? And the hole is up one end and they drop. So it's like a little teardrop. I think they're called teardrop beads. something like that anyway. And they have the hole up one end. And she does her yarns with these, and I really like them. They don't get lost in the yarn when you're spinning it. They stay outside of the yarn. I'm going to take my needle again. I've left a little bit of fibre in there, might make it easier to get that open, maybe. Yes. Put a little bit of the yellow through the end and drop the bead on the other end and pull it through. This is a little bit thicker, so it'll be a little bit harder. Hang on, I might have to just thin this out a little bit more on the end here. There. Just make it finer at the end because the hole will let you push it up. So there's 2 more ready to go on another piece, or you can put them with your strands when you're doing it. Here's another one. Let's do another one. Now I'm going to make the piece by running it through your fingers. You end up with it matted together, or felted, not felted yet, but they're stuck to each other because wool has barbs on it. So you add friction to wool and you end up with it sticking to itself. I'll put that there. Another bead. If I can see, that's always a problem. Pull that off the needle and onto the fibre. Now you can do the same, put a bead or a button on a piece of ribbon and put them down in little short pieces like this and add to your yarn when you're spinning too. Now another way to blend your fibres and to get it ready for spinning is to just pull out your staples. Let's say I want a bit of this yellow, and put them down beside each other. See, these have got a much shorter staple. It's only that long as opposed to this one, which has a longer staple. But when you're blending, that doesn't matter because they wrap onto one another. Just making a tiny bat here. I hope you can see. Let's put it in the middle here somewhere. Let's get rid of this. Put them over there, out of the way. Now I pulled those apart, separated them. I'll have a little bit of this bat here that I bought. This beautiful thing with all these lovelies in it. These are just different ways that you can use the fibre that you have. Now here's a bit that I've dyed orange, pale orange. I'll just separate it. And it's just a straight merino, no blending, so I'll put a bit of that on top here. And you just use, when you're doing felting too, this is what you do to get fine, thin pieces of wool to go over your wool fabric when you're needle felting. If anyone wants to have a look at needle felting, I can do that too. Probably not today, another day, but now I have a basket of add-ins here somewhere, but they seem to have run away. I don't know where they got to. Add-ins are all the other things like the sari silk waste, silks, all those things. Now we're just making a tiny bat here, which means combining the fibres. Now I'm going to just pull them out, draft them out a little bit. Now this is the one that we had here that came off the carder. And this is the one I have here that I'm making by hand. I can roll that up and I can start pulling it out from the end like this, and this will make a tiny little sliver or tops, one like this, only it's very fine. And with a few twists, you've got yarn again. And this is just making it into, as I said, sliver or tops, ready for spinning or twisting. And this is just blending those three lots, the fluoro yellow, the yellow bat and the orange merino, so that you can do with it as you wish. Now if you can crochet and knit, you can take this and crochet directly. Mostly crochet, but knit as well. And when you're finished, you can put it through a hot wash and it will felt down. So if you wanted a nice little piece of wool felt fabric, you could do this, then crochet it up into a loose crochet and put it through. And yeah, when you wind it up, just give it a bit of a twist as you wind, and that'll stop it from falling apart in your nest. When you do this, puts a little bit of twist into it, and this is called a nest when you take all your little bits and put them together like that. It's very pretty, nice and soft. You take the end and you just go from the end. Okay, well today I've done just twisting with your finger to put twist into your fibre so that it makes a roll, a bit of yarn. I've taken a bit of bat and added it to the roving so that you've put those two together, go like that, and you've got a bit of plied yarn that's now about probably about 20 ply in the middle, about 16 at the ends, and that's as quick as it takes to make a little rope. If you've got two people doing it, one person could hold one end and you could hold another, and you could go across the room and make a big long one. And then you could do what Christina was doing and make your little bases for your bowls. Now if you sew through those, you can yeah, make it quite strong and sturdy. Like there's no way I can't break that. But I take a piece of fibre that's the same length and about the same thickness, and that just comes apart like that. So there's lots more bits and pieces I'll do and show if anyone is interested, how to use these little things, put them, you know, to use them and crochet them into a, say, a tiny hat, and show you what you can do with it. How to turn these into a rope that you can use to tie a gift. To couch it down. Well, we all know how to couch down yarn. Once it's in the yarn shape, you can do it, you know, like you can double it over, you can whatever. You can embellish it with beads. Put the beads on fibre first and then twist it into it. Use a spinning stick, which is anything from 4 inches up. There's 4, so anything from that size up to about 8. I wouldn't go any bigger. This 8 isn't as good as this 6. The 6 is much better. And I'm sure you can find lots and lots of other things that you can do. So look at that. You can make one of those by doing it with your hands. And that's called art yarn. Okay, I'm going to leave now. Have a good day. I hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, see you on the next video. If you like what you see, please hit the like button and give me a comment. Thank you. Bye.